Sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. Grab a cup of tea, grab a notepad. It's about to get informative. Hi everyone, today I'm going to share with you 5 tips to escalate your shared home ownership application process. The first tip would be to get a good mortgage specialist. The benefits of getting a good mortgage specialist is that it will save your time and money. If a specialist knows how shared ownership properties work, they do the job. If they don't know, they will waste your time. So if you get somebody who is good and knows shared ownership very well, it will help you to save that time and that money. Another reason for getting a good mortgage specialist is that there are exclusive deals that they might have which will be of benefit to you, particularly with the lenders. So they'll be able to get you in on a good mortgage deal. If you are able to get a good mortgage specialist, the exclusive deals they have behind the scenes, you might just be a partaker of that. So choose very carefully. And finally, the reason for getting a good mortgage specialist is that they have to be endorsed by Homes England. Ensure that they are endorsed by Homes England, because Homes England has the regulations of how houses in England are supposed to operate, are supposed to be, and how the home owning process is supposed to be. So if your mortgage specialist is not endorsed, they might lead you somewhere you don't want to go. So make sure they are endorsed by Homes England. Just recapping that one more time, getting a good specialist enables you to save time and money. It helps you to get in on some exclusive deals that they might have with lenders. And lastly and most importantly, if they are endorsed by Homes England, it helps you to get a better quality home that is well regulated. The second tip to getting your application for shared ownership escalating is making sure your funds are in the bank. Please don't keep your funds anywhere else but the bank. Your income, your savings, and any other monetary gift that you have received from parents, family, loved ones, or business or whatever it is, make sure it's in the bank. This will allow the process to be quicker. If funds are not in the bank, there's going to be a lot of questions raised. The due diligence process is very, very critical, and they scrutinize every penny that is in your name just to make sure all funds are clean. So make sure that your money is in the bank so that when it's scrutinized, it comes out clean and it can be explained and you know why and where and how you got the funds. Another thing as well I would say with the funds as well is make sure that there is paper trail. So if you have sold a house, for example, to buy another house, make sure that there's paper trail that you've sold a house. If you've sold a car, if you've sold anything, whatever you've sold or gained, make sure there's paper trail to explain that, because that is going to be needed. And make sure your pay slips and your bank statements are in line for 6 months, because they will need to search that deep. These searches again are very thorough. So the second tip to escalate your shared home ownership process is to make sure that all your funds are in the bank. The third tip is know your affordability criteria. What do I mean by this? Credit score. Have you checked your credit score recently? Have you checked your credit score ever? Do you know what credit score is? If you're living in the UK for the first time or you've just moved to the UK, this credit score thing is a thing. So you want to make sure your credit score is in line. You can apply to check your credit score on websites such as Experian, Check My File, or ClearScore. There's so many places you can check your credit score, but I would recommend these 3 just because I've used them before and they just really show you where the faults are and what you need to do to improve your credit score. Just so you know, banks don't look at credit score the same way we would look at it so that the number that we see when you check your credit score, banks don't just look at that number. Banks go beyond that. So your number could be small, but that doesn't mean you're not going to qualify for a mortgage. So it's very important that you get a good mortgage specialist, because they will be able to get you through it if your credit score comes out a bit low. And just make sure you pay off your debt and you're not in default. You clear any amount that you own, and if you don't own anything, you're not in debt of anything, just don't add debt to your life. That will just make things a whole lot easier and a whole lot smoother. While we're talking about affordability criteria, know your budget. Know your budget. How much money have you got? How much money are you willing to spend? This will help you as you go forward. So make sure your budget is well defined. Don't just go in there without a budget in mind, because you could actually lose if you don't have a set budget. I'll give an example. If you don't have a budget and you see a house and they say, well, this you need to pay £5,000 deposit, you think, oh yeah, that's fine, I'm going to pay it. That's fine, I'm happy with that. Then a few weeks later, you come across another property which is nicer than the one you have gone for, and they're just requiring for you to have £3,000 as deposit. Now that's going to be painful. So it's very important you set your budget from the beginning and you stick to your budget, because that just allows you to explore more of the options available for you and allow you to identify the best property and the best home for yourself. Lastly, on the affordability criteria is for you to know and have a financial forecast. Do financial assessments on yourself. I really recommend Excel spreadsheets. So sit down, create that spreadsheet, create your income, create your expenses, and see where the money is going to. And then that will help you to know where to save and how you can save. If you don't have a financial forecast, when you even do your financial assessment, it's going to be very complicated. But when you do your financial assessment, you're literally just taking your spreadsheets and presenting them. It just makes you be more organized. And I think that actually a lot of specialists or mortgage brokers, they really like things like that. They feel like, oh, I can work with her. She knows exactly what she's about. So or he knows exactly what it's about. I'm not being prejudiced. I'm not saying women are more organized than men, but I'm just saying that make sure your financial forecasts are set in stone to allow you to be able to go through some of these financial assessments quicker, and also allow you to save money on areas where you could cut some money off and put it in your money pot to help you with the move as well. To help you have your shared ownership application process escalated is for you to have an area in mind. Have an area and a location in mind. If you want to move out of London, have an area and a location in mind. If you want to go up north of England, south of England, wherever you want to live, have an area and a location in mind. It just narrows down your options and helps you to concentrate on the most important things in your house search. It's so easy to get distracted when looking at property because there's so many properties everywhere, and they're all so different and they're all so lovely, and you could easily just get entangled in the whole, oh, I like this, oh, actually I like that, oh, actually I like this, and then you might not get the best at the end of the day. So make sure you narrow down your area and your location, and you do research the area, research the location, the town, research the schools. If you have children, or if you plan to have children, make sure you research the schools, because you don't want to go and buy a property and start living there. A few years down the line, you have kids and you don't like any of the schools in that area. So make sure you research and make sure you know the kind of schools that are available, and if it's something you would want for your future children or for your now children. Make sure you research the distance between work and and home, because sometimes you move to an area and then you get another job, and then now you have to commute 4 hours to get to work, and you've bought a house in this location. So really consider, if you're a career person, make sure your career aspects are in line with where you're planning to buy, so you know that you'll be able to commute that journey easily and make that distance if you need to go into work physically. And also just generally stuff like crime, safety, events that take place in certain areas. Like I'm someone who I need to know what happens here before I even go there in the first place. So it's very important, sometimes you might find that you live in a town that has a carnival every year at specific time, and it's going to get loud and noisy, and maybe you might not like that. So you probably are better off somewhere much more quiet, and you might go somewhere very nice and country, big house, big space, and you find out that you need a car and you don't have a car, and now it's becoming an issue because usually those countryside areas, I grew up in England in the countryside, and I can attest to the fact that buses are not reliable in the country. So you want to make sure you have your private car. So things like that are very important to research as you're making your decision, so that you don't end up in a place that needs a car just to get you to a nearest McDonald's, and you don't have one, or you end up in a place where you actually are better off using public transport because you get charged for driving past a specific area. Typical example is London. You get charged congestion charge for just driving into the city, so it's not a conducive place. If you have a car, you might be better off using public transport. So things like that, it's very, very important to do your research and know your area and your location. It makes you efficient when you speak to the brokers, or when you speak to the housing providers. It just makes you know exactly what you want, and people like that generally tend to get the best deals. So I really recommend knowing area, location, and doing loads of research. Finally, tip number 5 to escalate your shared ownership home owning application process is to be proactive. Proactivity. I know you might think this is very random, but that's the key. You need to reply those emails as soon as they come. You need to stay on top of the viewings. You need to be the first person at that viewing, especially if you like a house. Like, it's a war. Especially if that property has many eyes on it, you need to be the first person on there. You need to respond to the emails quick. You need to be very, very efficient and thorough, because whatever you want, someone wants it as well. So if you want to make sure you win this one, you need to be very proactive, be very organized. That's why it's important to get a good mortgage specialist. That's why it's important for you to conduct research in the area you want to live in. That's why for you it's important for your financial assessment to be in line, to make sure all your funds are in the bank. This just makes you the best candidate for a property, especially the one that's on demand. So proactivity is the final key and the capping stone to making sure your shared ownership home application process is quick, easy, and absolutely what you want it to be. I hope you found those tips very useful as you're embarking on your shared ownership journey. Please, if you have any questions, pop them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, it's a community. Why are you not in it? Please go ahead and subscribe. Let's embark on this home ownership journey together. We want to be the best homeowners. We are here to share experiences, journeys, and give you insight on what's out there to help you empower your decision making. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.